Grace Kids! Welcome back to Grace Kids TV. My name is Nikki Jezik and I serve as the Alpha Coordinator here at Grace Church. It's so great to be joining you again today. In today's lesson, we will go over the lesson telling how no one is like the one true God. What are some skills, traits, or interests you have that make you unique? Wow, those are really awesome. Over the last few weeks, we have seen what God is like in a few different stories. God's people, the Israelites, were wandering in the wilderness and consistently making choices that showed they did not trust God or want to honor Him as holy. They refused to enter the promised land and complained about the food God provided. Even their leader, Moses, disobeyed God. Each time the people messed up, God showed His holiness, goodness, and love. God wasn't like the Israelites. He never failed them. When they failed, God brought justice, but also showed them mercy and grace. Today, we will look at a passage from the New Testament to better understand God's holiness and how it changes us to be holy too. But before we get to today's lesson, let's head over to Grace Kids Trivia to see what you remember from last week's story about the time God healed His people. Good luck!
Question 1, true or false? The Israelites couldn't believe how quickly the journey through the wilderness went. And the answer is false, definitely false. Moses and the Israelites went on a long journey through the wilderness. The people were tired and they complained. There was no bread or water, and the people were not very happy. Question 2, true or false? God sent frogs that bit the Israelites, and many people died. And the answer is false again. God actually sent snakes instead of frogs that bit the people, but sadly many people did die. Question 3, true or false? After people died, the people told Moses that they were wrong to complain and admitted that they sinned. They asked Moses to talk to God to ask Him to take the snakes away. And the answer is true. This one was true. Moses talked to God and told him that the people were sorry for their sins. And that leads us to our next question for the day. Question 4, true or false? God told Moses to make something that looks like a snake and to put it on a pole. He then told Moses that whoever looks at it will be healed. And the answer is true. This was true. Moses made a bronze snake and he put it on a pole. Whenever someone was bitten, all that person had to do was look at the bronze snake and they would get better. And our final question of the day, question 5, true or false? Just like the Israelites looked to the bronze snake on the pole, we can look to Jesus to be healed. And the answer is true. This is definitely true. And one of our biggest takeaways from last week's lesson, God sent snakes to punish the people, but anyone who was bitten could look at the snake on the pole and live. We sin too, and we can look to Jesus and trust in Him to be saved from our sin.
Hi friends, I'm Megan. And I'm Jessie.
What are you holding, Jessie? Is that a yo-yo?
This is a yo-yo, Megan. But this isn't just any old yo-yo. This is an official Beatrice Dwaddleman limited edition yo-yo with light rings and a performance clutch signed by Beatrice Dwaddleman herself.
Nice. But, who is Beatrice Dwaddleman?
Megan, she's only a world champion pro yo. She's won the world yo-yo competition 4 times in a row.
Wow. Very cool you have a yo-yo signed by her then.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out a special place to keep this yo-yo. It can't go with all my other yo-yos. This one is too special.
Jesse, the way you want to set apart your special yo-yo from your other yo-yos reminds me of today's Bible story.
It does?
Yeah. Peter wrote to believers reminding them that God is set apart. There is no one like him, and he calls believers to be set apart too. Let me tell you the story. Peter was a follower of Jesus. One day, he wrote a letter to remind Christians about what God had done for them. Peter's letter encouraged Christians to live like Jesus. When a person believes God's good news about Jesus, it changes the way that person lives. Peter wrote, "Before you trusted in Jesus, you did evil things. Jesus gave his life to save you. Now you are God's children, so do not go back to how you used to live." Peter also said, "Obey God. He has a better life for you." Peter told God's people to be holy. We can be holy because we have hope that Jesus will come again. Peter reminded believers of God's words to the Israelites. God had said, "Be holy because I am holy." What does it mean to be holy? Being holy means being set apart. It means being different from everyone else. As creator, God is different from everything he made. God calls us to be different too. One way we can be like him is by loving one another. Before, we only loved ourselves. We fought and complained. God wants us to love one another instead. God is loving. Peter wrote, "Life on earth will not last forever. It is like the grass and flowers that dry up, but God's words last forever." Long ago, God's people waited for God to keep his promise to send a rescuer to save people from their sins. Today, we remember that God kept his promise by sending Jesus. We can be holy because we have hope in Jesus. No one is like God. He is holy, good, and loving. Jesus shows us what God is like. Jesus is holy. When we trust in Jesus, God makes us holy. God can make us more like Jesus.